lightning strikes, but you can track the storm's path, speed. Cyber threats are growing in scale, speed, and sophistication in our hyper-distributed, AI-driven attack landscape. Security teams need more than raw data. They need actionable intelligence. And that's where we come in. Introducing CISOTK, a cybersecurity platform delivering real-time contextual threat intelligence that helps organizations detect, assess, and respond to risks before exploit. Our platform empowers proactive cyber defense through capabilities such as data leak and breach detection, phishing detection, malware monitoring, brand impersonation detection, typo squat detection and domain takedowns, TLS monitoring and certificate grading, open port detection, vulnerability identification, as well as penetration, load, and resiliency testing. Our platform doesn't just deliver intelligence, it acts on it. CISOTK features powerful system-triggered integrations that automate detection to response workflows across your environment. We integrate seamlessly with SIEM platforms, support taxi feeds for structured threat intelligence, and enable webhook and API-based triggers to connect with your existing security stack. This means when a threat is detected, whether it's a phishing domain, leaked credential, or zero-day exploit, CISOTK can instantly educate your internal security stack. With real-time automated response at the core, your team stays ahead, not just informed. Upon creating your account, our systems will gather actionable threat intelligence on your property within 4 minutes, assuming you're at the top of our scheduler. This time to value introduces a much-needed ROI in today's threat intelligence landscape. You can't predict lightning strikes, but you can track the storm's path, speed, and identify which structures are most likely to burn and take proactive steps to protect or relocate assets before damages occur. That's risk inference, and that's what we provide. Sign up today for your freemium account or contact sales for a personalized POV where you'll get exclusive access to richer services and features. Hello and welcome. No matter what part of the world you're joining us from, we're excited to have you. If you are catching this live stream after it's been recorded, we're still happy to have you. So let's discover what CISOTK can do for you and for your company. But before we go too deep into what our service provides, I want to talk about two different things. So first, we have two types of accounts. We have freemium accounts and premium accounts. And so freemium accounts don't have access to all the features and all of the services that we propose to our user base. Premium accounts do. So we highly recommend you contact sales, which you can do here in the left sidebar, contact sales to schedule a POV so you can take full advantage of all of the services and features that we offer. And the second thing before we continue is the knowledge base. Now, I already have the page open, so I'm just going to click. The knowledge base is at cisotk.talk.help, and if you go back to the dashboard, you'll see there's a link here and a link down here. Now, if we are in the office, if our support team's there, you can contact us directly here, and I'll show you that in a second, or you can submit a ticket if you'd like help on something, for example. If you want to schedule a meeting with us, you can do it here at the top right. And we do recommend you look over our articles so you can understand a little bit more what this product is addressing, what our services are actually there to do. Okay, back to the dashboard. So on the dashboard, we have access to a couple pieces of information immediately, as in how many data leak or breaches have been detected, open ports, phishing detections, and vulnerabilities. And then our calculation here, which you can get from our documentation, how we're actually running that calculation. You can read about that here at your leisure. Scrolling down, we have some information about our TLS certificates. Luckily, all of mine are passing. This is a root CA, okay, identity verification, validity period, and this is our OCSP stapling. Pretty good. No brand impersonation, and I'll talk about that in just a second. But before I do, this is information being gathered from my personal project called Greenleaf, and you can see that here in my profile. So this is coming from my domain greenleaf.com. It's a side project. I've had it for a number of years, and it's not a big deal. It's actually quite a small project, and so, you know, consequentially, the attack surface is quite small. So scrolling down a little bit more, we have some information about a recent pen test, a recent load test, and a recent resiliency test that was done against the property. So you can see a little graphic here, giving you some insight as to how the tests went. Some information about typo squats, what's being disrupted. I think they're only, these two here. These would actually normally be removed from the list because they are non-malicious, at least in my case. And then what's been suspended. Okay, so that's the dashboard. Going over to threat intelligence, we have a couple options here. So information about data leak and breaches. You can see some data sets here from recent, I say recent, but they're actually not recent. Some of these are quite old, been detected. Apparently, the email address that I have has been used in a couple different services. Gravatar, obviously, for like icons and stuff. But these breaches actually were pretty aggressive. The ones that are of high severity, and we can add this from the database to the list here. The data sets that were found in the breach were like passwords, and so that's kind of a big deal. That's the breach size here, some information. We'll definitely add that to this list so you can see the data sets that have been used in the breach, and then also the articles that relates to the breach. Moving on to phishing detections, we have our own scoring. So we have an algorithm in the back end that grades the different domains based on a number of criteria. And for example, the one that has a 90 score has a 90 score not only because it has a high similarity, as in the principal domain here. We have a character replacement from a Y to an A, but also this domain, this TypoSquad domain, is using the same MTA. So they're using Google, right? And that's the exact same mail transfer agent that I'm using for Greenleaf, right? And so that increases the score. And you have a couple pieces of information. Looks like it's not a 100% because they're missing a DMARC and a DKIM. And there's some other things behind the scenes that don't give us a full 100% warning score. But I did take a look at this domain, and it seems to be non-malicious. And so when we do notify registrars to take down domains, to take down infrastructures, we're taking into consideration a lot of different things, right? So we're taking into consideration the detections we have in phishing detections, type of records that they have, malware detections, if they're doing any type of like brand impersonation, right? And so we take a lot of things into consideration, and then we notify registrars to actually take domains down if they are malicious. And that service is only available for premium users. Moving on to malware detections. Luckily, on my assets, no malware was detected. It's going to continue to scan. And again, that's a premium feature. Brand impersonation. Luckily, nobody is trying to impersonate my brand, and I'll talk to you about that in just 1 second. Let me show you. Where is it? So when I talk about brand impersonation, there's no data. When I talk about brand impersonation, what I'm talking about is the TypoSquad domain. What we're doing is we're looking at the HTML code to find out if it's similar, like if they're just copying and pasting code onto their site. We're also going to look into the logo. And although you don't have the option to see the images of these websites, not yet, that's something that's going to come very, very soon. It does exist. So we're actually scanning images of these domains, these TypoSquad domains, and any domains that look like they're malicious as it relates to your apex, so your principal domain. And what we're doing is we're taking images from them, and we're cross-referencing some of the key characteristics to find out is our logo or your logo being used on their website, and a number of other things to find out if it's actually brand impersonation or not. As for typo squatting, we're not getting a lot of data here, and the reason why is because this is not the full scan. And so premium users get a full scan, freemium users get a partial. And the partial is very fast. It comes in, like, I think the last time I tested it was like 4 minutes, which is pretty good. The main scan, where you get a lot of different pieces of data coming in. And so that's typo squatting. We have underneath infrastructure security, we have TLS monitoring, some information on the certificates. This is our own grading, but it's very similar to what you would expect from popular websites that do TLS grading. Open ports. If it is an unencrypted port, it's automatically going to have a high risk level, even if you never use it because of, well, depending on how your infrastructure is set up, you might just forward directly to 443. For web services. And as you can see, I'm not actually exposing anything else outside of just web services, so that's pretty cool. We do detect if proxies are in play, and in this case, there is a proxy on every one of these endpoints. And although you do see port 21 here, that was me playing with the database. So when a proxy is in play, we're going to detect just the first IPv4. Moving on to vulnerabilities, I am surprised that I have some, but it's not a big deal. It's going to be pretty easy to fix. The CVE type, the name of the vulnerability, the asset it's affecting, and then your CVSS score, priority, status, that kind of stuff. And PLR results from a recent series of scans. Penetration tests, I failed this one because I don't have a CSP, so it's a partial. That's a very, very easy thing to fix. I am the one that ran the tests. When we launch, we're not going to be doing penetration testing in-house. This is going to be outsourced to companies that actually have the specified skills for that, and we'll eventually bring that in-house. But for the moment, we're only going to be doing load testing and resiliency testing in-house. So just some notes from the last few scans. When we do give you the results, we'll give it to you in the dashboard, but then we're also going to give you a PDF so you have something a bit more detailed. A module that's going to come out soon, we're really excited about it, is called GRC, for Governance, Risk, and Compliance. It's not out yet, and it won't be out on the day that we launch, which is today. We won't have this ready for you today, but the good news is it is coming soon, where you're going to be able to define your governance model, and from there, we're going to give you insight into your risk based on the threat modeling that we do. And from there, we're also going to have information as to your position or your status or how well you're doing in terms of compliance. And so if you're getting ready, you're ramping up for a SOC 2 audit, we're going to give you some insight into your external attack surface so that you have more visibility into what needs to be corrected before passing a SOC 2 audit. As of all of the TSC categories, security is the only one that is mandatory to pass a SOC 2 audit. You're also going to get information as to how you're doing with GDPR. Is your website following best privacy practices, or are you using trackers and not allowing the user to remove the tracker? Moving right along, we have underneath the resources tab or section, we have facts. That'll take you back to the home page. A couple questions we thought you might ask, and then our responses. Going back, we've got contact sales section. Again, that's on the home page. We do recommend that you contact sales using this form because that creates a ticket. If you do send us an email, we're not necessarily going to respond to you in the same way or in the same speed because the tickets that we have an SLA, and we like to make sure that we get back to you in a prompt manner. Okay, going back, we have the knowledge base that I mentioned before. And if our support team is in the office, you've got this little speech bubble here to contact them directly. So you can contact customer support, send them a message, or you can, where is it, Help Center? You can look for articles like breach detection, like we mentioned before. You have access to our articles from the knowledge base. Some cosmetics before going into system settings. We've got an option for you to get a sunburn. if you prefer a light view, we are using the fastest front-end framework on the market, and the back end is being called from the front end. Very, very efficient. It's a RESTful API written in one of the fastest compiled programming languages of today, backed by some of the top software engineers of our time. It's really, really incredible. We're very proud. And we have translated the application into a few languages: Spanish, French. We've got it in German and Arabic, so everything's going to be backwards. Put that back. Right, so take advantage of these nice little cool features. If you do have a system setting for your color schema and you change your system, I'm going to do it now, change your system setting to like light or dark or whatever, our front end framework is intelligent enough to figure that out. So that's pretty cool. Okay, that's enough of the cosmetics. We have a couple different options here underneath our settings. You saw this before with profile. We do recommend that you fill the company profile up to the best of your knowledge so that we can have a more realistic result when doing threat modeling. Next, we have triggers, and triggers is a beta feature. And the reason why it's a beta feature right now is because the backend AI is learning from how you create the triggers and what you're actually expecting, and then from there they get validated before being put into play. If you don't want the trigger to run, you can deactivate it. Creating triggers is pretty simple. You can choose your trigger type if you want to send a webhook to one of your security team members, if you're working with syslog or you want to do an API call. You can also do a SIM event or a taxi collection, and just fill this up to the best of your knowledge. And if we do have questions or if something breaks, if something doesn't work, we'll notify you immediately to get your trigger set up correctly. You may have noticed that we are doing cron syntax. And so you have two options here for the detection schedule. So how often do you need us to detect it, which means we're going to be scanning, right? And then how often do you want to be notified when a trigger is true, essentially. Okay, moving on to security. We have a couple options here. You can change your password. I have 2FA enabled. We are launching with 2FA by email with an email code that you get. And we will be incorporating different 2FA options and SSO in the future. If you do want to play with the API, you can do that. This won't matter if I show it to you. I don't want to show it just for the sake of security. But essentially these keys, these API keys, these tokens, they get reset every single time you log out and then log back in. If you do want exclusive access to our API, don't hesitate to contact us through the support form. You can submit a ticket, or you can schedule a meeting with us and let us know what your actual needs are. Pretty cool. It's detecting that I am in Nîmes. And if you're in America and you don't know what Nîmes is a city, and that's where denim jeans gets their name. So that's actually where I am. This is really cool. It detected my session very accurately. Lastly, if you do have questions as to our privacy policy, click here. Pretty dynamic. If you want to know if we're using like a CDN, we're using Cloudflare, and why we're using Cloudflare. If you're curious as to what type of like Google services we're using and what data we collect, it's here. Our updated date. We're always going to update it and put the date in there. And if you have any other questions, you can contact us at dpo@CISOTK, CISOToolkit.com. Take a look at our other articles here. And if you are interested in getting more threat intelligence on your assets, don't hesitate to contact sales, schedule your POV, where you have access to all of our services and features. Well, thanks for stopping by.